Tonight on InfoHub Extended, we take a look at Guyana's economy and its increasing attraction to potential investors.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
10 Barbadian graduates of the Barbados Invest and Development Corporation's Export and Readiness Program recently attended a two-day business seminar facilitated by the Guyana Office for Investment to explore trade and market opportunities.
Barbados' interest into Guyana's economy continues to climb as the BIDC collaborated with GoInvest under a Memorandum of Understanding. This MOU speaks to the exploration of market and trade opportunities between the two countries. Over the past 5 years, Guyana has received approximately US $23 million in exports from Barbados yearly, with exports growing at 7% since 2013. This country, in turn, exports some US $13.7 million to Barbados, with an export growth at approximately 44% over a 5-year period. Chief Executive Officer of GoInvest, Owen Vare, encouraged the investors to capitalize on the opportunity since several local businesses were eager to engage with them.
So there may be proposals or counter-proposals that will come to you. I ask you to just look at them in an open light. There may be investment opportunities and trade opportunities much bigger than what you're seeing. I also like them and like your proposals that you're bringing here, because the market for everything that we look at in the Caribbean and under the trade and arrangements that exist between Guyana and Barbados, it's not just the population of Guyana and Barbados. It's the entire Caribbean.
Senior Development Officer of BIDC, Beverly Allen, commended GoInvest for facilitating the mission. InfoHub spoke with some of the investors who gave insight into their products and expectations of working in the Guyanese market.
Our goal is to export regionally, Guyana and other Caribbean islands. We are a spa and wellness company. I have a background in spa and wellness. I'm a certified massage therapist, medical skincare technician, as well as a tutor for massage therapy.
It's called Sweetheart Sandals, and there are handmade sandals for women, very fashionable. I tend to use very interesting colors when it comes to the leather, very fresh, as it has been described, designs. It's just a bit over a year old, and a lot of Caribbean bloggers have referred to it as the Caribbean's sweetest sandal.
When asked how she plans to compete with an already popular Guyanese craft industry, Thorne had this to say.
I think that there's space for everyone, not only in Guyana, in the Caribbean on a whole. So I think there's space for everyone. So I don't really worry too much about that. I appreciate other people's work and other people's designs, but I think there's space for everyone.
Owner of Eastlanders Footwear, Gerald Bryan, believes he will have a successful market here, especially since his products cater to the military.
We're offering a number of military shoes. We make shoes for the police and the defense force. And what we're also doing now is we're adding a little more comfort. We're actually customizing shoes where an officer can get a pair of shoes customized and get the insoles made based on the anatomy of their feet for comfort. And by getting those insoles made, it prevents a lot of back pains and arch problems and so on. So that's what we are offering to the Guyana Police and Defense Force today.
Executive Director of the Private Sector Commission, Elizabeth Allen, explained to the graduates some of the benefits of teaming up with local counterparts.
Now, what we are hoping to see since you are here in Guyana is that there should be more joint ventures between Barbadian companies and Guyanese companies. When you get involved with a Guyanese company and you buy into what they are doing, you have access to all the trade arrangements, the trade agreements to which Guyana is a party. One particular trade agreement, which is very lucrative for Guyanese and can be for you too, is the Guyana-Brazil Partial Scope Agreement. That gives this country and its businesses full access to the Brazilian market, which, as you know, is over 200 million people.
BIDC collaborated with GoInvest under a Memorandum of Understanding which focuses on the exploration of market opportunities and trade exchange between Guyana and Barbados. For InfoHub, Gabriela Patram.
Recently, Guyana participated in the International Trade Fair of Havana, InfoHub, in Cuba. At this event, several foreign investors expressed interest in building relationships with their Guyanese counterparts. Guyana's ambassador to Cuba, His Excellency Halim Majid, spoke about the event's potential benefits.
Ambassador Majid noted that Guyana Embassy in Cuba and local delegation that participated at the expo increased their interface with Cuban businessmen and trade sector.
We have had substantial interest developing between Guyana private sector and the Cuban private sector. As a result, trade has commenced, and I am delighted to be a part of that process. I'm delighted, almost in a selfish way, that this is happening under my watch and under the watch of President Granger.
Ambassador Majid said the attention garnered by Guyana's booth during the 5-day expo boosted this country's image.
We have been very active in the Cuban political, diplomatic, and business environment. People want to know more and more what is happening in Guyana. And thus, when we announced that we were going to participate in the 35th InfoHub, it evoked substantial interest among the Cuban business community.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer for GoInvest, Natalia Prasad, expressed similar sentiments.
A lot of people have come by the Guyana booth. People seem to be extremely curious about Guyana, what we're about, what we produce, and I think because a lot of Cubans are traveling to Guyana for trade.
Guyana's delegation included representatives from the Guyana Office for Investment, GoInvest, Comfort Sleep Guyana, Nan Prasad Limited, Demerara Distillers Limited, and Roshan Can Security Company, among others. All of these stakeholders have all committed to returning with larger contingents this year. The Havana International Fair InfoHub is the largest annual multi-sector trade fair in Cuba. For InfoHub, Gabriela Patram.
During the International Trade Fair of Havana 2017 InfoHub, members of the Guyana delegation met and held consultations with companies from China, India, and Chile.
The Nan Prasad group of companies and representatives from other local companies met with officials of the YTO company, a China-based company that produces machinery for the agricultural sector such as harvesters, tractors, and planters. During the discussions, information on the scope of rice harvesting and planting in Guyana was exchanged, while the dimensions of the various machines were provided. YTO's Deputy Manager Sonny Wong said her company is keen to tap into Guyana's market given high agricultural potential. The Guyana delegation noted their satisfaction with the consultations and promised to follow up with further negotiations. The Chilean-owned Austronol company is a chocolate and wine-producing company. Austronol's representative in Cuba, Andreas Espinoza, disclosed that his company is also keen on entering the local market.
I hope that this first approach finally ends on business over there. We will be more than happy to be with you sooner.
One of the highlights during InfoHub was the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and the Federation of Indian Export Organizations, which will see the trade and investment relationships strengthened between the countries. To that end, one of the exhibitors in the Indian Pavilion Spice Company SMJ Exporters Private Limited, which exports a variety of spices to Latin American countries, has expressed an interest in tapping into the Guyanese market as well. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
With the oil and gas sector, the economy is expected to be boosted significantly Recently, Guyana hosted the inaugural Guyana International Petroleum Business Exhibition, GPEX 2017, from which a number of joint ventures were established.
Some 5 local companies announced their partnerships with regional and international companies during the inaugural Guyana Petroleum Business Summit and Exploration, GPEX. Chief Executive Officer, CEO for Guyana Office for Investment Go Invest, Owen Verwey, announced that a joint venture was established between School of the Nations and Canadian company Lorne Corps on the sidelines of GPEX.
I know there's another one that is going on right now between 2 entities in the engineering, design and feasibility area. There's another one that is going on in the laboratory and medical research related industries. And I think there's one other, I can't remember exactly. I prefer to leave those entities to make their information public and get their own PR time out of it. But generally it's about 5 that got to a very advanced stage of their partnership relationship during this activity. Those are the known ones. There are others, obviously, that are in the making and continue to do their due diligence related work and ensure that they understand who they're likely to partner with.
Private Sector Commission PFC Chairman Eddie Boyer noted that the organization had successful meetings with a number of industry operators and stakeholders during the course of the event.
There's been an experience for the last 2 days. I think the Guyanese businesses has learned a lot. I want to say, importantly, we've learned also from meetings we've had with oil companies, namely Chevron and others, is that one should not build or invest in anticipation. And I think that is something we need to look at. Our businesses shouldn't assume in whatever business you're doing that the oil company would give you a part of whatever you're bidding for, or you win the contract, or if you lose the contract, you'll be subcontracted. I think you need to be more secured in your businesses, and that's what we learned, rather than going random.
GPEX was hosted by the Ministry of Natural Resources. Go Invest was the lead organizing agency and ExxonMobil as a strategic partner. The aim was to facilitate awareness on the industry, networking, and capacity building between potential investors and local companies. A total of 600 delegates, including some 200 companies, both local and international, participated in the business summit and exposition. Go Invest has created a database to ensure that participants can network after the summit. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.